welcome to my video. Thank you so much for watching, and I really hope you enjoy this one. I spent a little bit longer than I usually do. So I did draw this off screen beforehand, quite simply because I record off my phone and it's really pernickety setting up at a table, so when I'm sitting in a more relaxed position, I'm sure you can imagine it's quite a nightmare. Anyway, what I've done is added a layer of masking fluid over her face, and I have now started adding a colour detail for the hair, well, a colour wash we'll say. I used some neon paints, heavily watered down, just to give a really nice pastel tone. I don't want to go too heavily with the colour just yet. I don't want to commit to the details until the face is done. So I'm adding a more muted pink now, and that's just to bring out a little bit of shade and definition. Using various brushes as well to do this with, and certain areas of the paper I'm keeping wet, and certain ones I'm just going straight in there. Again, it's just to control the paint how I like to. It's still a bit of a learning process for me, but I am actually hopefully gaining some skills, or at least finding my way with this. So what I've done here is added a wash of colour in the a wash of water in the background, and I'm just flooding that area again with colour loaded brush, because I don't want a completely flat texture on here. I actually want to have just various areas of interest, just so it's not looking quite so flat. Again though, I'm not going too heavily in with the colour, I'm just adding a little bit at a time, but I'm keeping the tone quite soft. Now, the favourite part is removing the masking fluid. I do tend to find a thin layer works quite well, and it also works to my advantage because the heavy lining underneath is also removed with the masking fluid, so I don't have to go over it with a razor. Just before adding this colour wash and off camera, I did add additional masking fluid to her eyes, her nose, her cupid's bow and her bottom lip, just for highlight details, because I do quite like the natural colour of the paper to come through, and it just makes it easier to paint that definition around certain areas. So it's time to add in the eyebrows. I've only gone in there with a light colour. I kind of think I did them a little high up on the head, but we are where we are. Adding now some of the redder tones to the lips. Again, just thin washes of the colour for now, gradually building them up. I'm also using the existing water on the lips, which I've just painted, just so it naturally flourishes into there. It just creates a little bit more of an organic edge. Now I've gone in with some warmer tones, again, just to add a little bit of definition and depth through the face and on the neck and collarbone. And what I will be doing is adding some cooler tones, again just to make certain areas of the facial features pop. But I couldn't help but go in there with another coat on the red for the lips. And as you can see, they're starting to look a little bit more plump and voluptuous. And again, using that same red, but a very thin wash, adding that colour to her cheeks, just to bring out the definition. Now you can see I've added some of the cooler tones into there, and I really like, again, just how it brings the detail of the face out. It just sort of adds a little bit more of a natural look to it, because if you look at the human flesh, it's not all just one colour, you've got several in there. Now adding that warmer colour back in and just merging the two, and adding that little bit of detail on the nose. So now you can see I've just removed the masking fluid which I'd placed on the eye socket, nose and lips, and I'm going in there, I'm just bringing and dragging the paint across just to soften those edges. And what I've done with the eyes is just added a very light colour, well, a light wash of grey. I'm now going in with those eye details, because eye sockets and eyeballs aren't really that white. And then layering up the colours. Now I wanted to have a really nice azure blue for our eyes, so what I've done is just added a hint of green in there, and I will work into that further with more blues. So I'm sure you've noticed I've added some pencil crayons into there, and what I've used on the lips is a Prismacolor red, and for the outlining of her hair I'm using a Faber-Castell wax-based pencil crayon, or coloured pencil. And what I'm also adding to her hair is the Derwent Inktense pencils. I absolutely love these. I find the colour so rich and radiant, and I like the fact that I can control just how much that pencil mark's left behind. Unlike other watercolour pencils which I've used in the past, you do tend to find you still have that harsh line left behind, whereas with the Inktense, if you work it can dissolve the whole thing away. But I like the fact you get something somewhere in the middle. But again, that's all down to how much control I want. So adding some more details to her face with the Polychromo in a brown colour. Again, it's just to add some definition around them eyes, and I'm painting back in there again. What I do is I'll add the eyelashes just a little bit at a time. Again, it's not finished yet, so I'm not really too happy with putting the eyelashes on straight away until I know I've finished painting. So I'm adding a few more blues into the eyes, and I'm going around the face with a peach pencil. Now you can't really see it on camera, but it's just to sort of soften some of those perhaps more harsh edges created by the watercolour. And again, I'm adding some cooler blues in there, and that's with an Inktense, so I'll probably activate that with a brush, but not too heavily. Again, I've got full control when I use a watercolour pencil. So I'm going in for round 2 on the eyes, and I used a water-based pencil there, and I've just sort of smushed it around a little bit with the paintbrush again, just so it's not quite so harsh. And I've also darkened the eye whites again, because I was thinking they were perhaps a little too bright. Now using the Inktense, I'm just outlining around her head, just again to create that contrast. And what I'll do is I will actually use a colour wash to activate the Inktense, so it provides a little bit more of an even transition between the two, because although I do want that outline, I don't want it to be screamingly obvious. So adding further colour there, I'm really liking the mermaidy vibes in game here, even though you can't really tell if she's a mermaid or not. I really feel like there's some nice mermaid vibes going on, especially with how flowy all her hair is, and just the colours I've used, the colour palette's really just giving me the mermaid vibes. So I'm just adding a little bit more definition to the hair again with the Inktense, and I'm just slowly spreading that wet brush to make it blend in a little bit, but not too much. I'm using a wider brush as well there, not too laden with water, so it has natural little points, and that sort of drags it off more organically. Again, I'm finishing off the eyes now, just giving a subtle eyelashes and going in there with the brows. Now, I know I said I used masking fluid because I like the natural colour of the paper underneath, but sometimes it's kind of good to go in there just to add a little bit of highlight. It's just made those eyes look a little bit more three-dimensional, and just tidied up the lips a little. And I'm going in there with a finer pointed one just for the waterline and some other areas on the face. course everyone's favourite, the masking paper. Well, masking tape. I'm sorry I haven't got any sound on this. I do record off my phone, so the sound quality when I'm recording isn't great. And time for my paw print. And I just want to say thank you so much for watching this video, and if you've watched any of the others, thank you so much for watching those as well. And I can't wait to keep putting more on. I really enjoy doing these, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye everyone.